everyone, Alice Brown, Lady V here, bringing you our weekly update. And whew, has it been a week?
It has been a very busy week. We've had something going on every day this week.
Yes,
and we still have a couple more days to go.
That is true. So we started with last weekend with Geek and Grub.
Yep, on Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday at Fred Fletcher Park, and that was a lot of fun.
Event.
That is. I implore any of you that are in the Raleigh area, look up the October Geek and Grub show, which is going to be, hang on, I've got it written down here. 22nd from 4 to 8 at Fred Fletcher Park in downtown Raleigh.
This one is going to be Halloween and Stranger Things themed. They're going to have a haunted house for the kids. They're going to have a lot of different games going on. It's going to be a blast.
It truly is a family event.
Yes.
I know this past show, they split the games up. They had games for kids, and then they had the adult version of games, so that, you know, because it's not really fair to pick kids and adults in there.
Yeah, so they would have they had bobbing for apples, for instance, so they had a round with just adults, and then they had a round with just kids. 13 and younger were for the kids, and 13 and older were for the adults.
And for those of you that are going, oh my God, really? Bobbing for apples in, post-COVID days? They had everybody in their own individual buckets.
Yes, so that was wonderful.
Because I was the first one going, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I know one guy came up to the booth and he's like, you couldn't pay me to do bobbing for apples pre-COVID.
Yeah,
how do you expect me to do it post-COVID?
But they really set it up.
They did. That
fantastic.
was wonderful.
Yes,
again,
really did.
Round of applause to Erin and her team. Wonderful event.
Yes, definitely. We had so much fun. We met new people, a couple returning customers, which was always nice.
The first few minutes we were open, I sold like 2 Sapphire, Fire and Ice, and Iromantis and Remethus, because we had numerous return customers.
So that's always a good thing, to see our returning customers. Okay, so this week we are gearing up, getting ready to go on our writing retreat, which starts Saturday, just a couple days from now. And then, so this coming weekend, the writing retreat starts, so we don't have a show. However, our next show starts the following Saturday, October 1st, and we are back in Mebane, North Carolina. Yay! So, Mebanites, we are coming to see you. We love you. So we love that little town up there.
Yes.
And cannot wait to get up there to do that show. That is October 1st. It's in downtown Mebane. I believe it's on, is it Clay Street?
Yes.
I believe it's Clay Street that they shut down and have all the vendors on. So that is October 1st from 10 to 5. So if you're in that area, stop by and see us. Okay, writing update next.
Yes.
Yes. We have not really done a whole lot with the next Dragons of Dragonos book 5, Ruben Meyer. We've just barely scratched the surface on that. However, as I have stated in previous videos, we are pretty much going to be writing book 5 and point 5 and 5.5, the next book, almost simultaneously. And the reason for that is, if you've read Remethus, book 4, you were introduced to some children in there. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I don't want to give spoiler alerts, or spoilers out to those that have not read it. But I decided that it would be a really nice change to give those children their own point of view. And that's what 5.5 is going to be primarily about. There will also, so it's going to be anthologies, short stories. And you will have Sunshine, which you met in 4. You will have the twins, Millie and Miley. And then you will have Adarillon gets his story. And I know we've had a lot of you ask about that little elf, so it is coming, trust me, we're working on it. So that is where we're at on that. And I actually, because the characters in 4, 5, and 5.5 all kind of mingled together, I went ahead and started 5.5. And we are currently sitting on about 20%. We've been working on Sunshine's story on that one, and coming along good. When we leave to go to the writing retreat is when we are anticipating jumping into Ruben Meyer, book 5. So probably next week we will be able to give you an update on that one, and you'll see the percentage jump on that book as we'll have time to write in that one. However, 5.5 is currently sitting at drumroll please,
20%.
20%. So that is nice.
Yes.
Okay, I think that does everything for the shows and for the writing. The next part that we would like to go over, and this is for any vendors out there that are listening, or anybody who is thinking about becoming a vendor at any kind of craft show or con show, or really any kind of trade show, really. This kind of falls into it, but especially for those shows that are outside. Some of these items are very much needed inside too, but they all are very much needed for outside shows.
A lot of people, when we say we've only been doing the writing for, right now we're going on our 1 year mark. Mebane will be our 1 year mark of doing shows with the writing.
Shows, yes.
But however, we did jewelry prior to that, so we had a couple of years of experience with setup and, learning the right techniques and setups and takedowns and learning the hard way what is needed and what is not needed.
Exactly.
And so this is a little piece of advice for those who kind of wish that they had somebody to guide them in the right area, because I know I wish we had somebody to really guide us with some of this.
We were lucky to run into some people that have given us good advice.
We have, yes.
And we've listened to it and implemented it as it came. But on a couple of these things, we've had to learn our lessons the hard way too. And so that's what I'm trying to avoid out there for anybody else is, take what I'm saying and implement it however you want. So the first item is something that we just invested in. Mr. Brown has been after me for a year and a half now?
Yes.
Yeah, at least. To invest in this box. It's called a Jackery. Okay?
Okay, it is right side up. Okay, I thought it was upside down.
No, Jackery.
And it is a very small, portable, it's really not even that heavy.
No, it's not.
But it is,
you say maybe 5 pounds.
would you consider this a
5
battery or a generator? Because it doesn't run like a generator.
No, it's silent. It's completely silent, which surprised me. It's pretty much a battery pack. That's
battery.
what I'm calling it. But you can plug in. This one that I bought, it allows for, I think, 2 things to be plugged in.
2 things to be plugged in here, and then you have a outlet, cigarette lighter here, so you can charge it through your car or anything else. You have a input over here. Nope, you can't see. An input here. You have
USB port.
USB,
right there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Two USB ports.
2 USBs.
Okay. 2 USB ports
right here,
and 2 plugins.
And 2 plugins.
So this is one of the reasons I hesitated on top of the price, which these things do not come cheap.
What did we pay for this?
They're right about $300.
Yeah.
It was that one. But the other reason why is I really couldn't see where we needed it all that much unless we were doing nighttime shows, and we don't do that many nighttime shows. So I kind of held off on it. But we have been picking up and doing a few nighttime shows. We've also ran into problems where the sun and the heat is zapping some of our electrical equipment, like our phones or our iPads, or
even the square piece.
The square piece, things like that. And in all honesty, that Jackery will pay for itself within a year or before a year, just not having to pay for electricity someplace else. I know one show that we did, it was $150 just for electricity for a couple days.
Yeah.
That's half the cost of the Jackery. So next year I'm not paying it. I'm just going to go ahead and take the Jackery in, and that'll be done. To be done with it. You can invest in solar panels for that. That's going to jack up your costs substantially. But I'm just bringing it home, or if we're spending the night, just taking it to the hotel room, plugging it in, charging it, and it'll be ready for the next day.
We ran it for about 6-7 hours this weekend. We had a little fan going because it was really warm.
It was very hot.
And by the time we finished taking down and we finally took the Jackery down, it was sitting at 42%. So even for 6 hours running a little fan, it worked out really good.
It did. So that's something that is not necessary, but it is definitely going to pay for itself, and very, very beneficial. So in mind. Now, a couple other items that to me are an absolute necessity, and I did get Mr. Brown's input on this before we did the video, because he plays a very strong part in loading us up and making sure we have everything that we need for shows. Some of the shows he's able to go to, some of them he can't, because he has to stay home with the animals, but he is wonderful about making sure that his ladies are taken care of on shows.
Having a military background, we like to tease and call him our pack rat because he always makes sure that we have literally anything and everything for any circumstance that could possibly happen within 24 hours.
But the first thing is a first aid kit. Now, I keep this in the car at all times, 24/7, 365 days a year. The only time it comes out is if it's a show and the car is going to be quite a ways away from us. Hello there, Guardian. Okay, sorry guys, we've got the cat decided to get in the middle of everything.
Say hi. No, I just want to play with
I just want to get in everything. But a first aid kit is very, very important because you never know when you're going to accidentally cut yourself, or you might even have somebody in need. Somebody that just is
a vendor, a customer, anybody.
Just walk by. I've had customers. Do you by chance have a Band-Aid? Yes, ma'am, I do. So a first aid kit, I highly, highly recommend everybody have one at their booth at all times. So I'll let you have that. Something else that goes kind of with the Jackery, but even if we didn't have the Jackery, I would still do it just as a safety precaution, and that is a small fire extinguisher. Some of our outside shows are finally demanding that everybody take a fire extinguisher. It is just one of those safety things that you hope and pray you don't ever need in your lifetime.
Actually, we got to see firsthand why it is needed at certain outside shows this year, back when we did Azalea Fest down in Wilmington.
Yes.
Thankfully, they had the vendors separate from the food vendors, and one of the food vendors had a big grill up underneath a little white tent, and the grill blew up in flames, and the entire tent caught on fire.
Yeah,
and it wasn't but for another food vendor who happened to have a fire extinguisher that came running over to put the flames out.
Yeah.
And that is a very
that was
good
scary
instance.
because they had those tents literally side by side.
Yeah, it was.
That could have, if it got out of control, that could have been an absolute disaster.
Yeah, whoever the vendor was that jumped into action with the fire extinguisher, bravo to you for, having the nerve to act in a panic, because I know I am one of those people who, if I panic, everything freezes. It's a bad trait. I hate it, but some people are that way.
A lot of people are that way, in all honesty. A lot of people don't want to admit they are, but they do. They
I'll
just
admit
freeze
it.
in a panic.
I freeze.
In panic situation.
I'm a deer in the headlights.
But this, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we paid about $20 for at Walmart.
Yeah, $20, $25.
They're not that bad. They're not that expensive.
Very lightweight, and they're easy to fit in any size tote, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's something you hope and pray you don't ever need, but it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
That's my motto. It's better be safe than sorry. So
rather better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
something else that Mr. Brown swears by is zip ties. And if you are hanging anything, anywhere in your tent, if you're doing an outside show, zip ties are your best friend.
They're good for signs. With us, we use them for our main banner or sign, and we use them for our plaques as well as hanging them. But this one that he's got, it's assorted cables, so you have
Different
all kinds
sizes
of
and
thickness, length. I mean, there's a couple in here that are just little itty bitty things. Do you want to see what these are?
And Guardian's going to check it out.
Guardian's learning how to do a show so he can take over the business one day. Yeah, you like those?
Well, you know, when I'm too old to do things, you and Guardian get out there and take over. You can have my spot.
But with these, there's a cat showing my mouth. But with these, you need a way of getting them down.
Yes, which brings me to my next thing. If you are a female, most females do not carry a pocket knife on them. They're not like Lady V here, who always has a pocket knife on her. So this is something else that Mr. Brown suggested, and it is a small pair of dikes. These things are small. They can fit in any office tote or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you use zip ties, or even if you don't use zip ties, this is a very valuable tool to have. as we found out this weekend when our neighbors forgot theirs, and we had an extra pair, and we loaned them, and they went on their merry way. So
you can find these usually over in the craft section in most Walmarts or over in Michael's. You have them for both jewelry and quite often with a lot of your flower making materials or your flower arrangements. Or if you decide you can go to a hardware store, they always have dikes as well.
Yes, they do. Yeah, you look in the tool section, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Something else, scissors. Just a pair of scissors.
You don't have to have a big set. You can have one of the little pairs.
Yeah, you can have little ones, but I mean, again, our neighbors needed it to cut Velcro, and they forgot it. And, we had knives and scissors and whatever, so they had their choice of them. But a pair of scissors is very, very important for shows. So that's
Sorry, Guardian's going sliding across the table.
The cat is acting up today. I apologize. What are you going to do? Yeah. You can train dogs. You cannot train cats.
No, they will do what they want when they want.
When they want, exactly. So that is it for us. We will be coming to you next week from our writing retreat.
Yes.
And I'm looking so forward to that.
So am I. It's been a whirlwind of a month. At the show, we actually took the time because we got there early. We got set up early. We had an hour before the show actually started, and Alice and I were sitting down talking that was our first show in a month. The last show we had done was Geek and Grub back in July. Or August. August.
Yes, August.
And it had been a month, and it didn't feel that way. It did not feel like it had been a month. But then, we had to sit down
and think, and I'm like,
what did we get done?
What did we get done? It's been a month. It's been 4 or 5 weeks. What in the world have we managed to get accomplished? And then I thought, oh, wait a minute.
We had a book release. Our best friend went through shoulder surgery. We've been helping them out a lot. There really had been a lot of stuff. We got a lot of house projects done, especially inside because of the heat. We haven't really done much outside.
Yes, but we've gone through and started fall house cleaning in the house and actually have more than half the house already done. So
it's actually really has been a very eventful month for us.
It's been very eventful, very busy. So we're looking forward to this writing retreat, just to have a week of just doing
writing.
Just writing. Going out to eat a couple times, maybe a little bit of shopping in there, but mainly writing. And then as soon as that is over with, we literally will be leaving the writing retreat and going to the Mebane show that October 1st. That kicks off our fall schedule, which is swamped.
Yeah.
We have
4
a lot of
shows in October. Wow.
Yeah, we are
Well,
swamped.
what do we got? 7 more shows to go?
We have 7 more shows,
wow.
yes.
7 more shows.
Yes, there's 4 in October, 2 in November, and 1 in December. So we have a busy schedule ahead of us. So until next week, we hope you join us again. And be sure to hit that like button because it does help us out a lot. And we hope you have a great day. Bye.